As a licensed esthetician, if you're gonna get one product to help you with your hyperpigmentation, KP, and dead skin buildup, it needs to be the Ordinary Glycolic Toner. I know there is so much hype and discourse on this toner right now all over social media, but scientifically it works. This bottle literally has 7% of glycolic acid in it. Do you know with consumers, we can only have 10% glycolic acid in our products? So already you're kind of getting the max amount of glycolic acid that you can get in a product without going against FDA or science guidelines. Or without going to a direct professional, an esthetician or a dermatologist. So to me, this is already a great at home option and alternative. Glycolic acid is known for being a small molecule. So, what does this mean? This means that it can not only go into our skin very easily, but it can also very deeply penetrate the skin. So, not only are you going to be able to see results super duper fast, but your results are also going to be very dramatic as well. It's an AHA, which stands for alpha hydroxy acid. And what these do is they eat away at the dead skin buildup. And dead skin, that's what hyperpigmentation looks like. That's what dull skin looks like. And so when glycolic acid is able to eat away at that dead skin, that's why your skin looks a lot brighter and it just looks fresh and plump. Glycolic acid is also known for promoting collagen. So when you're using this acid, you might also notice that stretch marks are fading or your wrinkles are going away. Glycolic acid is really that girl. I feel like the reason why it gets so much backlash is because people underestimate just how strong it is. I was saying earlier, typically the max amount that the FDA wants in at-home products that contain glycolic acid is at 10, and even that is pushing it. So you not only have a strong product, but we can't forget that this is also an exfoliant. Glycolic acid is promoting cell turnover, so you're essentially having fresh new skin at the top layer every couple days. So when you have this fresh skin, you really have to make sure that you're wearing sunscreen and that you're being very responsible with how often you're using it. Because if you're using this exfoliant more than 2 to 3 times a week, your skin's gonna get very dry and it's gonna actually have the opposite effect of what you want. A lot of people are noticing that when they're using this glycolic acid every single day, not only is their skin drying out, but their hyperpigmentation is getting worse and they're starting to get wrinkles and aging looking skin, and a very clear sign that you need to cut back on the amount of times that you're using this acid in the week, as well as making sure that you're keeping your skin super duper moisturized. I always say 2 to 3 times a week for exfoliating. Make sure you're alternating on the days. Monday, Wednesday, Friday is a really good schedule to have for exfoliating. Leaves a day in between and then a whole weekend for your skin to rest. Also, with following up with a moisturizer and then following up with your sunscreen and an oil to really lock in everything. I am a big believer in using your oil after your moisturizer and then putting your sunscreen on top. I know that sounds crazy because oil is technically supposed to lock everything in, but you also want to think as sunscreen as a barrier, like a protection that you're putting on. And if you're using very strong acids like glycolic acid, it's going to be very sensitive to sunlight. Don't pick up this product without also using a sunscreen that has an SPF that's higher than 30. I personally use I start my day off with the Black Girl sunscreen. It's a 50 SPF sunscreen, good for the face and the body. And throughout the day, I apply a sunscreen that is a 30 SPF. And I'm also a believer in applying sunscreen at night because who's to say that the moon doesn't also have UV rays? And on top of that, UV rays are strong enough to penetrate through the house. So wear sunscreen at night and during the day. So let's also talk about safety as well. I know it seems so annoying, but when you're testing new products, always consult your doctor, especially if you have sensitive skin or high inflamed skin, just so that you're not essentially reversing the results that you and your doctor have worked so hard for. And following up with that, I always say start off with a little travel size or a little size so that you can do a patch test and see how your skin reacts over the course of a week or two. Because it's a toner, is cleanser, then your toner, then your moisturizer. Oil is optional. I love a good oil. And then, oh, if you're using any serums, you want to use this toner first before you use any serums. And I actually want you guys to check out this video that I did on the good molecules discolorations, because I do think that both of these products would work perfectly together, which is going to be a whole other separate video. But let me tell you guys how I use it and why I wanted to make this video in the first place. So I'm not gonna lie, ever since your girl stopped getting pedicures, my feet have gotten so dry and I don't know, I could not figure out for the life of me how to fix it, because just like I was saying earlier, the more I scrubbed it with a sugar scrub, a hand exfoliant, whatever the case was, it would get even drier. But I kid you not, I used this once on my feet. I noticed a big immediate difference. And this is my second time using it this week on my feet, and they are so soft. I was shook. I was like, ain't no way, boss. Ain't no way. I was like, what is going on? I truly believe, especially for if you have dry skin on your scalp, if you have seborrheic dermatitis, using this will help so much, because it's just eating away at all that dead skin that's on your scalp, and it's gonna help. Not only is your hair gonna grow a lot faster because your pores aren't gonna be clogged, but you're gonna notice that the buildup goes away as well. A lot of people were putting this in their hair, right? And then they would go wash your hair. No. So you're actually supposed to leave that in and not rinse it. I let it dry, and that's another thing. Even if you're applying this on your face, let it dry before using other products, because if you don't, then the glycolic acid is just gonna absorb into your other products, and then you're not doing anything essentially. So make sure that you wait for this to completely dry down on your feet or any dry areas on the skin. You're gonna notice a big difference literally the next day. My scalp is not itchy at all. It didn't feel like too tingly or irritating, which is another thing to be careful for if you have seborrheic dermatitis, because if you're scratching your head and you have open cuts and stuff on your head, that's not good, and it will burn. As for KP and hyperpigmentation are gonna take a little bit longer, and that's why I wanted to document my journey on my shorts. So 2 to 3 times a week, I'm gonna just be uploading a video showing you guys the progress of the KP and hyperpigmentation on my legs with this glycolic acid toner and the good molecules. So definitely keep an eye out for that, and I'll put the shorts playlist down below. But for those part of your bodies, it takes a minute for the glycolic acid to eat up all of the hyperpigmentation. That's why it's very important to not only stay consistent, but to stay on top of wearing your sunscreen, because if the skin just keeps getting damaged by the sun, then you're not gonna notice any difference, because you're still gonna just keep getting more and more hyperpigmentation. So with the KP, I noticed a big difference with the KP on my legs the second time that I used it. First time, not so much. And what I also want to point out is that I noticed a big difference on my lower leg, but not really my thighs, where a lot of the KP is. I feel like with my lower leg, it definitely took the 2 days, but then with the KP on my lower leg, on my thigh area, I'm getting my first day results with my lower leg. if that makes any sense. But I'm gonna keep using it and keep documenting it, so you guys stay tuned for that. And also keep me updated if you end up trying this product and how you liked it, all that stuff, because I generally feel like there doesn't need to be discourse on this. Like, anybody can use this. You just really have to make sure you're using it in moderation. And if you have sensitive skin, always do a test patch, because not everything is gonna work for everyone, and not this is like skincare is just like makeup. It's not a one size fit all with everything. You really have to alter the way that you're using products in combination with other products, the frequency that you're using it, or even the product that you're using in general. Not everything's gonna work for some people. Some people like glycolic acid, some people like kojic acid, some people like lactic acid. It just really depends on what's going to help you and your skin concerns. So I hope that this answered any questions that you might have had about why the glycolic acid toner is so popular. What is the discourse behind it? Why is there so many mixed reviews? I feel like overall, especially for what you're paying for the product, this is really good. You just have to stay consistent with it and also pair it with things that will get you the same results, well, a little bit faster. So I will have everything that I mentioned down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with some more updates and another review video. Bye.